Ladies, gentlemen, and paceheads of the world, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Go ahead, let's start this thing off.
Big Jeff Audio. Big Jeff Audio. Big Jeff. Big Jeff. Big Jeff. Big Jeff. Big Jeff Audio.
It's Big Jeff Audio in the chair. Have a seat and relax. Don't be going nowhere. Got guests coming on. They be giving advices. Check out the website for them dope ass prices. Lowest in town, yeah, that's a fact. He be keeping them down. He's a maniac. Giveaways done every 1,000 subs. And to any other channel, he show nothing but love. Big Jeff on the mic, you know he get down. What's the name of the show? Well, that's Big Sound. Big subwoofers, yeah, that's the type. Deviant for life, I'm saying smash the like, and we out.
Big Jeff Audio.
Man, if it looks weird, it is because tonight the computer, this big ass fucking crazy computer took a shit, and my laptop, another nice laptop, and I got VR goggles here, all types of stuff. I'm a techie guy, and seems like everything that's gone wrong can go wrong. So I'm working off my Samsung phone. We will still bring the show to you. Hopefully you can hear me. I think we're having a couple problems with Facebook again. My guys should be fixing it in the background. We have tonight Jacob Fuller. We're not going off the rails tonight. We are going to be a little bit off because I'm literally holding this phone up. This is crazy, using some headphones so I can hear. Hopefully you all can hear. We have a lot to talk about tonight. There's been a lot going on. Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will go wrong. Looks like they're fixing it because we're jumping up people that are coming in. Hey, let's bring Jacob Fuller on, guys, and Taylor, pop yourself in. Hey, Jake. Are we fixing the Facebook?
Yeah, that's already taken care of.
Okay, so people will just be jumping in now. Nice chain, buddy. Nice chain. Look at you. Crazy, man. I still laugh about it because it was a joke, against me. With my real chain, and we turned it into a huge campaign. So we actually have, I found them in China, right? Because you can buy them on Amazon. That's where we got them. So of course, I found them in China, and ordered a couple thousand to get them here for the Sundown show. So we'll be out there with chains, and hopefully everybody's walking around with Big Jeff shirts and chains on. That'll really piss off the trolls. But lemons and lemonade. Man, this week, Jacob, I was trying to tell you just a little bit. I barely got on here. I've had manager issues like crazy at the shop. We have over 30 plus employees to make that place turn. It's not small by far. We got a lot going on. My customer service manager left on a week vacation and haven't seen him in 3 weeks. Got COVID, then it got better, worse, and all the way to the point that he actually resigned.
Wow.
So, yeah, crazy. Warehouse manager, one of mine, I didn't even know had a 10-day off. My office forgot to even remind me, and the warehouse manager took a shit on us, and then I brought another one in and didn't even make it a week. They all come and think it's like a stereo shop or like a small online business. They don't realize the amount of work we do. So I've been dealing with that. The F550, everybody, that actually was supposed to be done this week. Yep, there it is. And the guy down in Dunellen, which is like past Clearwater, I just felt shit was weird. We had a contract, a date. He was supposed to have it wrapped because he owned a sign shop, everything. And literally just a couple of days ago, I was like, well, fuck it. Give me the down back. You're playing around. I need to get ready for the Sundown show. So I just said, fuck it. Went out and bought a brand new 3,500 dually. Yep. So that is part of the Big Jeff team. It's actually on my lot right now. It is going to get wrapped. It will be done for Sundown. We also picked up a enclosed trailer to pull all the Big Jeff stuff out there. They're wrapping that, and that's going to get pulled, which they probably don't have pictures up, a big Grand Wagoneer. And we're doing all this to go to that Sundown show and represent out there. So I don't care what you throw at me, I'm going to prevail, my brother. I'm going to prevail. At the end of the day, I'm going to prevail. So that's just part. Now, obviously, I can't get into everything, but we even had an employee that we let go for being written up multiple times. And we have a video. She left quietly like it was all good, and then comes back with her gangster little boyfriend who started to tear up the shop. We had to call the police. I mean, he talked a lot. He talked a lot of shit till I came around the counter and, then ran out, but kicked a bunch of shit. So it's just been one thing after another in Ocala. It is crazy. So we're going to make the best of it tonight. There's so much more. Looks like people coming in. We're at 48. It looks like everything's working. So tonight we got some things to talk about, Mr. Jacob Fool. This is our first full night, you and me, so we can get some real knowledge going. We're going to talk about some stuff that you've been releasing online. We got the Sundown show coming up, which is going to be huge. We had Made of Steel, but this is going to be my first huge show. We're going to go out representing. We just launched or announced last week that we got into production a Big Jeff lithium battery. We have a video right there. That'll be done. We're taking pre-orders now. But the video, I guess, that I made for it's hit 60,000 views in less than a week. I mean, I don't know what about the video. It wasn't funny. It was just informative. But seems like it's really growing. And we hit our 20K, and then normally we get to 21, about 1,000 a week. But I think, what are we at right now? Can somebody pop in and tell us where we're at on subscribers on YouTube? I don't care when y'all pop up on here. Ben, there you go. All right,
I think Ben sent the screenshot. We got like 33.
So we went from 20,000 to 33,000 subscribers. And y'all could kiss whoever says they're bought. This is from all the content we do, the podcasts we do, the videos I do, man, it's from all of that. That's what it's from. And it's from you guys out there representing, following, and doing your thing to help us grow. There's Sean Mayo. I can see the comment, my dudes. Oh, it passed. Somebody throw that one up. My dudes sounds a little bit weird, but excess power battery, Sundown audio fill tilt. Yeah, in the house. He's right. So we're going to make a good night tonight. Okay. So we talked about the new dually truck. We talked about the new trailer. Let me see here. We talked about the employee going from 0 to 100. That'll be up on YouTube Friday night. Maybe we'll play a little bit tonight. That's got a trend. We got the Cuban Link team. Big Jeff Cuban Link kicking ass out there. We got so many people getting chains, taking pictures, sending them in. Yeah, look at all the manufacturers, man, representing. That's what it's about all together. And then, what else do we have? Oh, Big Jeff, get drunk text by Big Jeff. We've been doing that every week, man. I've been sending a text out. Can we get up the latest winner? I know I'm going off key, but can y'all bring up the latest winner this week? There you go. Craig Scarborough. There's the actual screenshot. So if you haven't added yourself, all you got to do is text the word drunk to 737 Big Jeff. That's all you got to do. And then every week, we've been giving out kicker, copper, amp kits. We go ahead, Jacob, you send them a text for me. They send us a screenshot. We send it out. So it's a pretty cool campaign, man. I guess that's the reasons why we're growing is just, taking care of people. So we got Jacob here full night. We're going to do some talking. We're going to turn this around. Looks like we got Living Loud with Andy in here. Let's see who else. Mike Holdsworth. We got a lot of faithful followers. Thank you for jumping in. Okay, let's do this. We're going to take a short video break, and we're going to be back with the man himself, Jacob Fuller, hitting that cigar, relaxing, and we're going to have some fun. I'll see you all in a few minutes.
magnets up versus making magnets wider. Sorry, this is unscripted, but hopefully you enjoy that.
The man himself. First, we're gonna do like we always do giveaways. We got what are we doing tonight? What do you want to give? Okay, we got a American-based AK4 A&L. It's a CCA 4-gauge jab kit. You will need to comment the word Jacob, Jacob. You only need to do it one time, and that will enter you in for the first one. We'll get a little bit into this, and then we'll have Mr. Fuller announce the winner. Man, let's start off first there. One, man, I gotta tell you, give you props. You're looking good, and I don't mean that in a weird way, man. I know you're putting time. That shit ain't easy. I know I got a fat face now, but if some of y'all go back in my Facebook history, I used to be a very serious bodybuilder, especially when I got out of prison because you're so focused, you know what I'm saying? And crazy results. And I was back then 315 pounds and about 12% body fat. And that's a high number, but not for that size. You know what I'm saying? I was mean. You're ripping down though, man. I'm seeing it. You're starting to shred up. I mean, how much time are you putting in? I know this is not about cardio, but we got to give you props. That shit is dedication. It's not easy. You can't just one day do it, another day don't do it. You can't do it half-assed. And I've been there years ago before I hurt myself. Let me tell you, man, I know what you're doing. How many hours a week are you putting into this, man?
You know, this is kind of crazy. I have a new workout that I do, and it doesn't require as much time. I use a system called X3 with resistance bands. And honestly, and this might sound crazy since you've been weightlifting, I might about 2 hours a week.
No, it's not crazy. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people, you know, I was addicted to it. I even done steroids growing up, which really screwed up my body. Years later, I've done human growth. And let me tell you, there's an addiction. There's sometimes where you overdo it. Your body has to heal. But I learned later in the years that high intensity quicker is better. Get out, let your body heal. But the guys that sit around the gym, talk shit, text, and play videos, they're never getting their body to that point. They're not building, you know, slow twitch and fast twitch fibers. They're not doing what needs to be done. They're hanging out. So I can see how you're doing it, man. But you can definitely see it. So I'll give you big props there. But I want to jump right into the big thing, man. I keep seeing inhuman. Okay, so we got all the DDNs in stock. We were one of the first ones to get them. Thank you to everybody at Sundown for putting us first. We've been selling them. Those things are crazy big, right? But then I'm seeing online inhuman, which looks like it just swallows up an SDDN. So let's start there. Give us what this is. Where did this come from?
So basically, I was telling the guys in the back, you know, like the current frame platform, the Sundown tool platform. I originally designed that frame platform about 11 to 12 years ago. And I've been building on it ever since. But I've never built anything that absolutely maxes out the 18-inch frame. And I'm working on my version 2 frame. So I was like, you know what? I need to send this frame off. Like, I need to really celebrate this frame and like max it out. At least one product max this frame out before I go to the next level. So that's what the Inhuman is. And the 18-inch frame was the only one in the line that was designed from the beginning to handle a 5-inch coil. So I was like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a 5-inch coil. We're going to put as much motor force as we can possibly behind this thing and as much excursion as we can possibly get in there. So 5-inch coil, it has the same winding type as the SDDN, which is a 4-layer round dual one, like super big wire. It's like 15 gauge wire for the voice coil. Huge.
Wow. Yeah.
170-pound motor assembly plus an N52H Neo cap put together with the basket, 182 pounds, 185 with all the soft parts. And it's just, I know it's not practical, but it's not supposed to be, you know?
Right. If you were to guess, I mean, how much power could that thing really take continuous? And what do you think you could throw at it in short bursts?
So I'm going to rate it 7,500. So like it would do good continuously with like a Salt 8, something like that.
Okay. And I know you're always very, very reserved on your ratings, right? Because even like saying the SCDNs are 3,500 watt is crazy, right? Yeah. So I know it's so. Is the 7,500 the conservative Jacob way? I mean, I'm sure it can take more than that continuous. Yeah.
Yeah. The coil is just absolutely ridiculously big. And with that amount of motor force, the coil is going to move quite a bit per amount of wattage applied. So the air cooling effect is going to be enormous as well.
Mm-hmm. So 5-inch coil, super thick. What is the temperature that thing can get to?
So the coils, American coils, they're rated for 500 degrees. So
500 degrees. Right. So
Yeah.
when you're in the 300, that's a badass woofer. We're talking, almost double that. So pretty much unbreakable. You'd have to be really, really stupid and really, really trying. The question is, how many are these going to be produced? And is this just a one-off?
Yeah, it's a one-off. I'm thinking we're going to make 300 of them.
318-inch or 300? It's going to be 318-inch.
300 total, and from Sundown, we're only going to sell 18s.
Gotcha.
Now,
okay.
Some people have asked me about 24s. My friend Nick at Stereo Integrity, he builds 24s for home audio. He's going to buy a couple of motors and sell some 24s. Okay,
that's going to be insane. I think there's people out there that want to jump into that just to do it. How long do you think before this might actually be ready to rock and roll?
See, so I have the motor, and we're currently doing the simulations on the soft parts and computer, and those are pretty much done. We have to submit those. That'll be the first Mega Roll version 3 surround to hit production as well, because we wanted to, again, to have the crowning achievement on that version of the frame. And the Mega Roll V3 surround is, I was telling your guys earlier, the Mega Roll V1 was a half oval, Mega Roll V2 was a half ellipse, Mega Roll V3 is a shape in between that, fully 3D optimized on the computer. So even more linearity than what we have now. So I would estimate that we'll have the soft parts in to confirm everything within about 45 days. And if I confirm everything, that'll be about another 4 months after that.
Okay, so this is right around the corner. This is getting into season time where people got some money to actually afford this. So that's pretty cool. I got another note here. My guys, I can't really see the comments off of this little tiny screen, so pop them up so I can see if there's anything important. Did Tri-State jump on? Tri-State, I don't know if you saw last week's, they actually made me a set of Nikes that got Sundown on there. DS18, they made the Nikes red, and I mean, crazy sneakers. Do you guys still have a picture we can pop that up? Yes? No? No picture? Oh, there you go. Nope, that's not it. Okay, maybe not loaded on this one. But it was really cool. We were going to see if they wanted to pop on tonight. They actually made them. They were going to make a couple different sets and have us kind of auction them off to give away to a charity. They're nice, brand new Nikes, man, but they really went to town. They even designed the box. Really cool. So big shout out to Tri-State. We got a lot of faithful followers, man. Last week we were talking to Parker, the bass head. He's actually going to be out there with me, parked with us at the Sundown show. Unfortunately, he's all deaf bounce, but he's still, man, a great guy. He's got Mech Man's helping him out with some alternator issues and everything else. He's on his way to hit 100,000 subscribers. I think he's real close. And he's been a big asset for me in promoting our company. Let's talk about the next generation X and Z and NS subs. Can you break that down for us?
Yeah, if you don't mind, I had 2 questions I want to answer that I saw.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
One guy asked why the social media is called Sundown Unofficial. Well, that's actually Derek's personal Sundown promotion channel. The Derek Haddock at Sundown has his own thing called Sundown Unofficial, and then that's separate from Sundown Official. Like, so for example, there's an Instagram official Sundown Audio. That's ours, Derek Sundown Unofficial. There's Facebook, the official page, plus Derek's Unofficial, and then the YouTube. There is a regular Sundown one, but Derek does a lot more content on YouTube.
Right,
so
100%.
Let's get you on that.
Yeah, so everybody don't know, Derek actually runs outside the warehouse and that, and he's been heaving up this dyno, one of our Black Diamond amps, and he's doing Sundown protocol type. So real informative. He's the one you see out there at the shows parked with all the Sundown gear. So good answer, good question. You said you had a second question?
Yeah, somebody asked what the GOSP was on the Inhuman, and so it's kind of a funny question on this particular model because the gap is so large. So let me just do a little crash course here. If you have a very, very thin top plate and a very, very tight gap, you're going to get an incredibly high Gauss number. But that's not necessarily going to give you a high motor force factor, because the motor force factor integrates the B, which is the Gauss, what you're asking for, and the L, which is the amount of winding in the gap. So now let me actually answer the question and explain. The Gauss of the Inhuman is about 6,600, but you have to keep in mind that the gap is 6 millimeters wide because that coil is that thick. And then the gap is 45 millimeters tall. So let's say, for example, if I cut that top plate in half to 22.5, that would put me at about 13,200 Gauss, which would, people that look for that number be like, oh my God, that number is so high. But I'd actually have less BL. So, you know, Gauss isn't everything is basically what I'm getting at, but I wanted to go ahead and answer the question. So 6,600.
You know, I'm curious, when did you really, I know when you first started, obviously all the knowledge wasn't there. When did you really kick in, you think, where you really started to break it down scientifically and know what you're really talking about? I mean, how many years in did you take it to another level?
The interesting thing is from day one of when I got my first system, I started reading like crazy. I like reading. I read 50 plus books a year. And when I'm not reading books, I'm reading magazines or internet articles or forums or, you know, whatever. So I had started learning when I got into audio in about the year 2000 through the forums. And I actually had a pretty good technical knowledge before I started the company. It was all theoretical. It wasn't practical. Now I would say my practical knowledge really started kicking in. I founded the company in 2006. My practical hands-on knowledge started growing drastically at about 2009, about 3 years in. Because I had time to get prototypes and test. And
it's incredible. You know, when I got back into the game, I got in, you know, social media, reading the forums. You got people on there that don't have a fucking clue what they're talking about. They just, you know, enough info to make them dangerous, right? And you got some people out there that are real serious and they take it too serious, where they're jumping on people, you know, because they say the wrong word or the wrong phrase.
Yeah.
But, you know, talking with you, man, and I know it, man, you're the real deal on this. You know, you can see the passion you have in just designing this stuff. What's this here? How much electrical would you need on the Salt 6 to be at 14.4 V?
Well, batteries and stuff are not my specialty, but I'll tell you what, my suggestion would be, you know, holding 14.4 volts isn't necessarily critical, and that's going to depend on your battery, where your battery rests, and different lithiums, you know, they rest at different levels. But if you had a Salt 6, I would probably get yourself a 200 to 300 amp alternator. And I'm more familiar with the excess power line. Like I would run like 2 of their Titanates.
Yeah.
The C-Max and stuff I'm not super familiar with.
100%. And if you wait till November, you could run 2 of the Big Jeff 22 amp hour batteries, but excess power for sure. But yeah, big thing, you know, everybody's got to know you have to have an alternator unless you're going to layer so many batteries. But even at some point, you still have to charge those back up. So unless you're going to keep plugging in and charging them all the way up, you have to supply the juice. So economically, it makes sense. And we tell customers all the time, you know, that call in, the alternator is really a cheap way to first start, because, you know, mech bands are about $500. $500, that with even an AGM battery, you know what I mean, can do the job depending on what you got. But no matter what, you start adding in other batteries, you still need to charge these things up, and you're not going to do that, one, with an alternator that's factory and only has so many amps, and 2, most of those don't really charge really till like 13 and change. So yeah, the car might show 14, but it's not really charging, you know, with all the amperage at that. So definitely the mixture for sure. Great question. What we got here, it says the all-new M line, smaller than the X, but still using a mega suspension. You want to break that down?
Sure. So basically, everybody that's in here probably knows how I roll, right? So I always make things bigger and badder. And when I'm going to the next generation, the X series has gotten so big and bad. The X version 4 is creeping in on what a ZV6 is now. So I was like, well, hell, I better make something for the guys that don't need all that, right? So that's where the M series comes into play. The M series, in terms of motor force factor, is going to fall somewhere in between the X version 2 and X version 3, but it will actually have more linear excursion and a larger coil than either one of them, and will fall at a lower price point than either one of those did. So that's where I'm at with that. That'll be the entry-level mega suspension sub.
He's jumped back on. Amp recommends 600 amps of fusing. Keep in mind, and he could jump in, but when you fuse something, okay, so let's just say you're running 300 amp fuse. It doesn't mean it's pulling 300 amps steady, right? That's why I'm using 300 amp fuse.
Yeah, you're protecting
600
the wire.
Yeah, you're protecting that connection. You got to keep in mind it's all about how much voltage, where you're at. It's the resistance, right? So voltage drop, resistance goes up, amperage goes up, heat, everything else from there. It's a domino effect. So yeah, it's recommending 600 amp because the amp can pull that much power. So you're not going to throw a little 200 or 300 A&L on it. You'll pop that. But again, it's not going to be consistent. That would be actual power burst, right? So yeah, still, here's the rule of thumb when it comes, and we get these questions all the time, and I tell my CSR to tell the people the same thing. You put as much as you can afford in there because more the merrier, right? It's the same thing in wire size. I used to explain this in retail. If I get a 7-Eleven Slurpee and I use a coffee straw, I can get some up there, but I'm going to have a hell of a headache. And as soon as I take that out and I put that thick, straw in there made for it, it slurps right up, and then I get a head freeze, right? Well, it's the same thing in like electrical. That's why thicker wire better, or more runs of thicker wire. Can you overdo it? I guess you could overdo anything. Too much oxygen will kill you. Too much H2O will kill you. But, when you're talking about pulling 600 amps possibly, you got to be ready to pull 600 amps. That's not going to be done with copper clad wire. It's not going to be done with one run of zero gauge. So same thing, you got to look at the batteries. If you are pulling that at certain times, that will drain the battery pretty damn quick, depending on what you have in there. Now, I know in the Yukon, we did 102 of the 40 amp cells. So that's 6 goes in our jail. I know the calculator, but that's a damn shitload of reserve there. But not everybody can afford 102 times $69 or $65. That's a lot of money. So, I would say if you got to go AGM, that sucks because of size and weight and everything else. I would definitely think lithium's going to be better, more bang for your buck in a sense. I think everybody's just afraid of it. And then you just have to watch it and keep adding, like he said, at least 2 Titans. You probably even need more if you're really pulling 600 amps. But you got to do what you can afford. You know what I mean?
And you're not gonna pull 600 continuous. You don't drive around playing a sine wave.
No.
So, and if you are driving around playing a sine wave, then my recommendation needs to be increased. But I'm just saying, if you're a guy, you have a Salt 6, you have some subwoofers, you're listening to music, you have an alternator that's like 200 to 300 amps and 2 of the Titan 8s, and there's going to be so much dynamics in the current draw that the batteries are going to have time to recover in between the really loud bass notes. But like I said, if you're listening to like absolute just bass music constantly, then yeah, you might need more than that, but that's not most people. You'll just have to.
Nah. And you can cheat a little bit. We sell a shit ton of UC 31s. We probably go through on the B stocks, which is just damage externally, but we probably order in at least 200 a month or so. Those are great to add in on a battery. So, there's ways to get around it, man. But at the end of the day, it's got to be what you can afford. And if you can't afford the Inhumane and an 8K and the power it needs, don't do that. Get something that you can afford.
Smaller.
or you build it up. All right, so we got the 4-gauge kit. If you haven't commented, Jacob, do it now. And let's do a short video break. Come right back. We're going to give that away, and then we'll keep going on.
What's up, guys? Taking a second to show off these all-new Sundown Audio U 6.5-inch subwoofers, rated 400 watts RMS, available in dual 2-ohm and dual 4-ohm versions. Got that new mini Mega W surround there. So let's play these things and show you what they can do. Frequency testing here. Get in there, let y'all see what kind of movement these guys can do. All right, one more time through the full thing.
pretty crazy. You know, I got a question after we get this away. I got one for you that you can help me out with. All right,
Sure.
let my guys bring up the winner for the 4-gauge. You can read off the name, Jacob. Who's our winner for the 4-gauge amp kit?
We got Clay Brown. Clay Brown's the winner.
Awesome. Clay Brown, contact 737 Big Jeff. My team will hook you up. Congratulations. We have another amp kit to give away. You're going to comment the word Sundown, Sundown, and we will call that winner out. Let me ask you a question on that. So, you know, I always used to tell customers, you know, the worst thing they could do is have the system pounding, right? And then just open the trunk up. And then what happens is you got no pressure, and then it just slaps out, you know, and you end up usually separating the coil or slapping the back. Is it doing that? One, I always get people ask, should they break the speakers in that way, free air? And doing that like he tests, is that ultimately bad for a woofer?
Well, the reason that when you change the environment that you have an issue is because they're probably already driving the woofers to the limits in that environment, and then they're changing the environment rapidly and going over the limits. Now, when we're testing in free air, we have a consistent environment. We bring it up to the level where we know it's safe and we just leave it there. We're not changing the environment rapidly, like opening the trunk.
Gotcha. Do you feel, because we get all the time, you know, we sell a bunch of Sundown, we have big def bounce woofers, you know, even some of the DSAT stuff. You always ask, what's the break-in period? What's this and this? Do you recommend doing a free air kind of with a sine wave there up and down to kind of loosen up the spider, or does that even need to be done?
I think that's excessive. Just put it in your car, and if the woofer is extremely stiff, I would recommend playing it for a little while, you know, because the lack of movement will reduce thermal power handling. You know, beyond that, there's really not a huge need for it. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily stick a woofer in there and just all knobs to the right, you know, like because until the woofer starts moving like it's supposed to, you could have reduced thermal power handling.
And let me tell me if I'm wrong again, because I put my foot in my mouth, but I always thought, and I used to tell people, you want to get that thing kind of get in a groove first, straight, right? Because it's building a groove in there. Am I correct? It's rubbing against the sides.
Ideally, you don't want it to ever rub, you know. Any sort of rubbing is bad. But the system is designed to move in a straight line, and it should do that regardless of the amount of break-in. And I need to interrupt for a second. I want to answer Daniel because he has asked 3 times. Daniel Customs. Sorry, buddy. He needs a Saya 3500 bass knob. We should have them in stock if you want to call Sundown and talk to Donnie. And if we don't have them in stock now, we'll have them in stock soon. So I just want to get that out of the way. Sorry, buddy.
That's that. Okay, so let's talk about the Sundown show. What should everybody be expecting this year?
I think it's going to be, honestly, bigger than ever. It's grown every year. And it seems like we're getting more attention from vendors, you know? So I think it's going to be pretty awesome for the consumer to get in there. You know, I'm excited. You know, I'll be there walking around, even though it's super hot and I get sunburned in 10 minutes, but I'll be there with my big Sundown hat on. We're coming out there like 60 foot of tent. I'll have the money booth out there running so people can get free swag, and Big Jeff Cash will be giving out shirts and chains and lanyards and all the cool stuff. And we're almost positive, I will let everybody know, but we should be rolling up there with some pallets of Sundown product that you can all get a deal of cash and grab. But we'll let everybody know on our social media if we're going to do that or not. I tried to bring product out the made it still. Our tent was nonstop. It was just so much going on, giving stuff out, talking with people. And especially now that we'll have the Yukon out there done with the demos and everything else, man, we just need to focus on that and the customers. But we might have some product out there. We will keep you updated. If you have in the comment, make sure you do for the word Sundown. Hey, Chael, or one of you guys jump on. Did we actually do the video on upload the video of the 0 to 100 on here or no?
Yeah, we've got it in.
All right. We don't need it. I just want everybody to see what I've been dealing with this week. Can we go ahead? This is nothing, but this is just a piece of my last couple of weeks. Let's cue up that video of 0 to 100.
All right.
It started off as such a nice morning. The sun shining, the birds singing,
Hello, good morning. So really fast, we've made a company decision, it's just not working out. We're having too many problems, we can't get you to stay on the ball, and then yesterday, now you're coming in today, you never updated us. So I need your time chip, and I need, all right, thank you and good luck.
Everything was calm and peaceful until
And obviously the one, yeah, it might look at yeah. And what's up with my lady like getting right up? How that works? But she has a doctor. Okay, one, let her come here like that. She just leave. She not what's up. I'm just go properly. What's the other reason? I'm trying to see what's up, bro. Okay. I'm not going to talk to you about her appointment. She got what's up. Well, how the court can call y'all yesterday? Where you got to know that? Yes, you do. Yes, that's no one to do with that. Yes. You gonna keep walking this? Huh? You gonna keep walking this? Listen, bro.
You kiss your mother with that mouth? Bye, Felicia.
a very short time later.
Cops is filmed on location as it happens.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, obviously it was a lot longer than that, but we gave you all the highlights. That's what I got to deal with. She was all nice and calm, like being let go from being written up like 20 times and just not getting with the program. But yeah, so he got arrested, like 3 felonies. Kept bragging about doing 10 years. I guess he could add a couple onto that. So that was part of my week. That was pretty crazy, but
yeah.
We're here now. We're relaxing, talking with Jacob, and man, we're talking about the Sundown show, August 19th. We're going to be there. Man, do you think is it that point where everybody comes up, wants to get an autograph, pictures with you, man?
I love it, you know. And again, I always forget to bring a marker, but if anybody sees me and wants me to sign their shirt or their product or their car, I don't care. I'll do it. So
right.
Don't be scared.
No doubt. So we got another amp kit to give away. Hopefully people can enjoy it and use it. If you haven't commented, please do so.
Do we have time to answer a question?
Yeah, bring it up. We got plenty of time, man. We're only at 8:08. Yeah.
Somebody asked if we had any woofers that are good for infinite baffle.
Okay.
I don't specifically make a woofer for infinite baffle right now.
Hold on. Explain, because there are some people that don't know what an infinite baffle is. Let's go there first.
Yeah, infinite baffle generally in the car audio context would mean that you have the woofer attached to the body of the car going out to the open air as the enclosure. Sometimes with smaller subs like 10s or 12s, you could just seal off the trunk, and the trunk would be large enough to be considered infinite baffle. I believe the rule of thumb is 10 times the VAS, but we'll just, for the sake of this argument, we'll say completely free air to the outside world. So generally, you're going to want a woofer with a little bit higher QTS because, let me try to back up here. So when you're looking at a sealed enclosure, you get the lowest F3 when the QTC is 0.707, which is the interaction of like the Q of the woofer with the enclosure. So that means that, you know, in order to get that best F3, you would want your QTS of your subwoofer and infinite baffle to be as close as to 0.7 as you can get. So we don't make any woofers with a Q quite that high, but you're getting closer with like a like a X version 3 18 would be pretty good infinite baffle. And the M series, those are going to be in the 0.6s range QTS. So those will actually work quite well infinite baffle combined with the really low FS. So if you're an IB guy and you want Sundown, when the M series comes out, that's probably going to be what you want from us.
Hopefully that answered it. How is inventory? Oh, here we got another one. We'll get into inventory next. Is there any updates on when the Power Sports 10-inch LED will release?
Yeah,
that's what I got a question because, man, before we even got Sundown, direct, we were allowed to have Sundown Power Sports, a little bit different of a setup, what you can do. But I ain't gonna lie, the shit was real popular, man. It was just hard. I think back then, everybody needed the 6-inch louds and hard to get and that. But they sold right away. What is it? I mean, that's a great question, man. Going into the new season, I know you're doing all this crazy shit with woofers, but where are we at with the speaker side, man?
I'm doing a lot, actually. So if you look at the Neo Pro line, the V4, 6.5s, and 8s are coming in. I have a Neo Pro 10 developed. The Neo Pro 10 is in production as well. I have a prototype Neo Pro 12, in fact. That is just prototype, not in production yet. I have another super tweeter that I just posted about yesterday, I believe. It's like another very small one, but much higher end, high fidelity sound. Then I'm working on, our LCMR series, the cheap one. I'm working on, so I'm going to say inexpensive. It's not cheap. It's a great driver. I'm working on LCMR 10. I'm working on a coaxial version of the Neo Pro. And then we're on the Power Sports end. Jeff, you said you like the BPSs. Those are coming back.
Yeah.
We finally got more of those in production. So
they were just a durable, speaker with no real issues. People beating the hell out of them. That's what they're doing with them off road. We sell a ton of marine product, period. It was just a good speaker. You know what I'm saying? The worst part was,
we basically ran slap out during 2022, and everything was so nuts I couldn't get more of them in time. But they are in the works right now. They're coming back in. And
do you think you're going to expand the off-road line of stuff? I mean, that's just a popular thing nowadays.
Definitely. I'm focusing really hard right now on my next-gen soapers because that's our specialty at Sundown, big bad soapers. But yes, Power Sports is growing. We're testing all sorts of stuff. Like there's so many prototypes, I couldn't even list them right now.
Do you think with the whole buyout and everything, don't you think now you have more time to do this type of stuff?
Yes. And I have very high expectations for myself. I feel like I'm working slow, but then everybody at the office is like, dude, you got to slow down.
Right. No, you can even tell the difference, man. I followed you before all this, right? You could just see the difference in your mode, once the buy was done and transfer of power and all that kind of stuff. It seems like you're on fire now, and not that you weren't before, but things kind of leveled out, time and everything. Trust me, I know. I know how it is. Yeah. You can see every day. 100%. So, that's a good thing for the brand itself that you could put, more time and energy into it for sure.
And that's really my passion is products. Like, I've told this story, I don't know if I told it on your show, but like, I didn't start the company to get big. Like I started to make stuff that I thought was really cool to offer to people that they would enjoy. And then so many people seemed to agree and they kept buying and buying and buying. And the company just kept growing and growing and growing, and then I ended up spending so much time managing the company that I ran out of time to do some of the cool stuff that I really wanted to do.
I hear you, man. But you're showing it. Inventory is getting up again. Orders are coming out faster. Shit, I ain't gonna lie. I was cussing you all out when we got on board because we don't do anything small, obviously.
Yeah.
My name ain't Little Jeff, right? It's Big Jeff. And, that was aggravating, but things are starting to come around and work out. And that's an awesome thing. I think, the brand has made some major changes. And I think coming for the new season, Sundown is going to be even on another level than it was, a year or 2 years ago. So that's an awesome thing. I'm seeing the followers and support of it. That's huge, man. And I think you being so vocal with everything, all the designs and things, and most companies keep all that shit quiet, and man, people want to see this, man.
Yeah.
I think that's what helped me build up because my whole life was out there and it's real. It's not fake. This is how it is, good and bad. And they're seeing that now with Sundown. I think that's huge.
I like people to know that, and I also like people. I really want people to understand that this is not point and click. You know, one of my favorite examples right now is the 3-inch mid that I'm working on. You know, I'm 3 prototypes deep on it, and it's great. I could sell it right now, but I'm not going to because I know it can be better.
Right.
You know, and that's just how I am.
And you know what? Go for it. Right now, Sundown is known, like you said, for the big, not we won't call it expensive, but high quality product. And you don't need to have that underline, man. That's what people are paying for. That's what they're slapping the name on the car or truck for, man, is for what you're building right now. What does it say here? Brand I want the most. Subwoofer Dad 276 says that's the brand I want the most. Oh, we're on the 20K giveaway. Okay, I got some bad news to give everybody. I gotta give it to you. It's not really bad news, man. One, we're giving away, Jacob, I don't know if you, I'm sure you watch everything, but I'll just read. We were giving away, I said 20K was a big milestone for me to go from 2,000 or 3,000 followers, you know, like 12 weeks. So I just wanted to do something huge, right? I knew you were coming on too, so I wanted, you know, just show some love. We said, fuck it. We're giving away 2 SDDN 10s and a 6K. Now, there's no other motherfucker out there giving shit like that away. We're giving away like 10 grand a month minimum of stuff. And I can say that with 100% saying we are the only ones doing it. But here's the thing. Y'all got to work for that. That's not like a little $500 setup or even a thousand. I mean, that is several $1,000s. And it's going to cost me, depending where you're at, hundreds of dollars to even ship it to you, being that each sub is over 100 friggin' pounds. Plus, I got to ship that surfboard of a 6K. So guess what? We're going to run the 20K into next podcast, which means everybody has more chances to share the video with us being tagged. Now, what everybody's been doing, Jacob, is when they share it, no matter what their social media is, they're taking a screenshot. They're either texting it in to 737 Big Jeff or they're emailing it in to info@bigjeffonlineinc.com. And we've been putting it, every single one, on a spreadsheet so we can run it through the picker. And no matter how many entries they get, they'll be in there. So, yeah, we are not announcing the winner tonight. Y'all got to work harder for it. We're going to go ahead one more week. Go ahead. What were you going to say? There it is right there. That's a lot of equipment.
Is my connection okay to everybody, or is it just, am I good?
You're good. I hear you fine.
Cool.
So what we're going to do is we giving everybody one more week to share this out. Don't just share it on your page, share it out in the groups, everywhere else. And every time you share out that YouTube video, you'll get another entry on the Excel sheet. And then next week, we're going to have a ton of people in there. We already have a bunch that are going to possibly win 2 SDDNs and a Salt 6K. Huge. So the way Big Jeff here is allowed or able to give all this stuff away is by growing the channel, bringing the supporters, building the platform, bringing people to the website. So being that this is such a huge giveaway, we got to do a little bit more work and share that out. But if you have commented the word Sundown, we're giving away another amp kit right now. Go ahead and pull up the winner, and we'll have Jacob announce the second winner.
Cool.
Who's the winner?
Subwoofer Dad 276 is the winner.
Subwoofer Dad 276, contact 737 Big Jeff, and we will take care of you. So while we got a little bit more time, are you designing or doing anything with the amplifier line, or is all your focus on speakers right now?
Yes, sir. I'm doing a lot with amplifiers. The SAE version 4 is the most pressing thing right now. I'm really working hard on that. Those will be a more budget-oriented line, but they're going to look like the current Salt series. So they'll have that really nice titanium finish case. And the heatsink is about 33% heavier than most amplifiers in that category. Very excited about that. Those are monos, 600, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. 4 channels, 100 by 4, 150 by 4, 200 by 4, and a 5-channel, 80 by 4, and 500 by 1.
That was a mouthful. I don't think everybody got that, brother. You're going to have to slow that down next time. So Let me ask you this. You have the salt. What are the lines? Can you break up the different lines? Obviously, everybody knows the salt. That's the first thing that comes to your head when you're thinking about Sundown amplifiers. What are the other lines? Because you got the SAM, right?
Yep. The SAM is the power sports line, and those are going to stick around. And we had the SDX and SAE version 3s. Those are going away. Then we're going to have the SAE version 4. Salt's going to stick around. And then we have the SIA stuff, which I'm really pushing that on high power. We're doing the SIA 5K and 8K. Those are coming out. Some of the SFBs are sticking around, but they're being updated. The SFB 200.4 and 500.4 are coming back with a version 2. The SFB 600, we're not changing it at all. That amp's a beast. There is going to be an SFB 1000 version 2. So I didn't want to change the part number to confuse people, but the SFB 600 is actually a half bridge. It's not even a full bridge because the voltage output wasn't high enough to require that.
Explain that. What is there between a half bridge and a full bridge?
Yeah, so let's see here. The best way to explain it is a half bridge amplifier. The negative terminal is 0 volts and the positive terminal is positive voltage. So if you have a part rated at 100 volts, you can actually only get 50 volts, but they tend to be more reliable because you're not driving the parts as heavy. This is just a very huge cliff notes if there's any tech guys in here. Full bridge, the positive terminal is positive voltage, negative terminal is negative voltage. So you can basically get double the voltage output out of the same part. So you require fewer parts for the same amount of power.
Gotcha. Let me ask this. We had Massive Audio on a couple weeks ago. And I was actually blown away. I've known JR for years. I knew he was intelligent, right? Knew Cardi, but he blew my mind. You guys even thinking about or looking into electric cars?
Yeah. Some of your guys had asked me about that in the intro. I personally have a Tesla, and Scotty Johnson, he's in the battery and energy business, and so that's something that we have talked about. There's nothing that I can really say publicly right now, but yes, that's something that we're looking into.
It kind of blew my mind him bringing things up, and I think everybody watching was blown away because it's not something that's really talked about. But the reality is, it's here, it's right around the corner, and the government, depending on what happens in the next year or two, is really pushing down on it. So I was blown away with Massive Audio bringing up. So that's cool that you guys are, in the talks or doing, thinking about that, because I see more and more Teslas on the road, man. You know what I mean? And what we're learning is, it was kind of weird. You were saying you can make an amplifier without a power supply because of the voltage you can pull from the car. And I'm like, whoa, that's just like, dude. And I blew my mind because I don't know nothing about that side of the world. So
I don't know if I broke it up for you, Jeff, but an amplifier in car audio is just 2 amplifiers hooked together. So the power supply is a fixed frequency amplifier, and what it does is creates the higher voltage to power the output section. But if you already have the higher voltage DC, you don't need that. That's what he said to you. So that's completely accurate. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy to think we could do that. And we got any other? Go ahead.
I wanted to finish the amplifier talk a little bit, if you don't
My
mind.
bad. Yeah. Go ahead.
So we had the bigger SIAs and the SFB version 2s, and the one thing I wanted to add is it's probably going to be next year, or maybe hopefully next year, but there will be a SALT version 2.
SALT version 2.
Yep.
I missed the comment there. Hey, Big Jeff, got any 3K amps you're throwing away? Well, I don't have any more American bass amps, so I'm not throwing any off of the roof or running them over with the forklift. Unfortunately, we cut ties with Trinity Soundcube and
Sky
High. Yeah, there you go. I was having a damn brain fart. So right now, all that stuff is on blowout to move on. I'm not going to get involved in it. We're just going to move on and keep focusing on the big brands that we have and that are supporting us 100%, being Sundown, Excess Power, DS18, Defbox, all those. So, but yeah, if you're looking for a 3K, no, I'm not throwing any away, but we got some that are almost at throwaway prices. And I'm sure after this giveaway next week, the 20K, maybe I'll put together a 3K type setup for sure. Okay. The fella who actually made the rap video for me, which I love, Jacob needs his own rap song. I got you.
I like it.
I will guarantee he put something really together for you. I can't wait to hear it. Blew my mind away. In fact, when he sent me the song we're using, it's when the rain crowd hit me a couple weeks ago. It was just everything going bad. And that was the first part that gave me a smile. I sat back in my chair in my office, and honestly, I was probably at the moment to walk out at that point, and I heard the song, and big shout out to him for sure. Okay.
That's something interesting, Jeff. You follow me on Facebook. You might have seen, but the rapper 2 Chainz has my speakers.
No, didn't see that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I believe. And I didn't even know. Someone just sent me his music video, and like there it goes. Or it might not be his music video, but showing his car. And he opens the trunk, and bam, there's Sundown. And it's a similar setup to what Snoop Dogg has on his car. Snoop Dogg has my subs too.
No shit.
And I didn't know. I was like, man, if I had any way to talk to them, I'd be like, man, I'll give you guys some nightshades or something. Come on.
Right. No shit. Actually, you brought it up. Let's talk about the nightshades. Where are we at on these? I mean, we got a few more minutes. I don't think we still got plenty of people in here.
Yeah.
We'll break it. Yeah. Give us the short version on what the hell that is besides some crazy looking woofer.
Sure. So we got a very small batch of motors in. We're building some units to get pictures. And we are building a batch of woofers for one particular big build, which should debut them at the Sundown show. And then the majority of them, the whole container of motors, will probably be here shortly after the Sundown show. Those will be shipping out. Magnetically, they're pretty similar to the V5. They have 10 to 15% more motor force than the V5. Not crazy, but the big thing with them is long-term power handling with all the heat sinking. So the heat sinking starts on the inside. There's a plate on top of the actual steel top plate that's aluminum that pulls heat out, puts it into the vent ring, into the frame. That's one heat path. The other heat path is below the top plate. That comes down. That's a full shorting ring. And then all of this is connected there's wedges that go in between the neo magnets. Those come out to the outside heat sinks, directly connecting to extract heat. As your coil gets hot, one of the more efficient heat paths is directly into the metal. And what we want to do is we want to get that away from the gap, because if it stays on the gap, it contributes to the heating of the coil. So we're getting it to the outside of the motor, and the motor is designed to blow air out at high velocity, and that'll cool those heatsink plates that are all over the outside. And so the big thing for those is extended demoing. You know, a lot of people are kind of scared to play Neos for a long time, but the Nightshade version 6 is kind of the epitome of pulling heat out of a Neo motor, and those are going to be great for demos.
That's awesome. They just look funky too, man. It's weird because it looks like they look anorexic, but long, right? But they're powerful. So it like really screws with your mind when you look at them, right? You know they're powerful, but it looks anorexic, right? Because you got this, you got the top, it's huge. You got this little, it's crazy, man.
It's really fascinating, Jeff. When you get one, I want you to do an experiment for me. So most subwoofers sitting on a table, and you can stick metal to the magnet. That's because there's flux that's going places it shouldn't be going. If you have a nightshade, nothing will stick to it.
Really?
All of the flux is going directly into the path through the gap. There's basically nothing on the outside. If you try
That's crazy.
It falls right off. So that nightshade only has 2 pounds of magnet in it, and it's outperforming subs with like 50 to 60 pounds of ferrite.
That is nuts. So do we have an idea a price range they might be in? I mean, is there even something to kind of compare?
There is, but some of the prices.
Just a guess. Just a guess.
If I had to guess off the top of my head, they're within 10 to 15% of the V5s.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you offhand. I think the V5s are like, don't quote me on this, but I think the V5s are like 1,500. So these are going to be like 150 to 200 more ish, something like that.
Right, but these are more designed for that demoing all day, right? Because of the pressure. Right, that's crazy. And then the average power handling on those?
I believe we're rating them 3,000, which is it's pretty solid on that, and that's like all day.
Right.
Things like if you get in these guys, they play music for like 8 hours straight. You touch that magnet, it'll burn you, right? And
you'll feel it through the wood, through whatever it's touched. I mean, it radiates out. I mean, it's crazy, right? Yeah.
And we're trying to get that to the outside, so where it can be dissipated as quickly as possible. Get it away from the coil.
Why not? I mean, I'm just thinking crazy. Why not attach a fan to the bottom, man?
That's been done.
Right.
One of the things I worry about with a permanent fan mounted in the subwoofer is that you have to worry about that fan failing.
Right. Right. And then you're stuck. Okay, everyone. you know, we had a great night tonight. We turned lemons out of lemonade. I'm working off a little cell phone. 2 computers took a crap on me tonight, but Jacob pulled it through. We pulled it through. We learned a lot tonight. Everybody's gonna be at the Sundown show on the 19th of next month. We're coming out strong. We're unleashing the Hair Tricks for $1 demo vehicle, which today just got pictures with the excess power batteries in. We'll have those displayed up tomorrow. The subwoofers are in. The doors are made. It's coming down to mountain amps and final touches. So pretty crazy. Everybody, if you can help out, we got a video going. If you got videos, you got pictures of your builds, you can go to our website. Ben, do you have that up where they go to the website? Can we play that real quick? Or no? I'll explain. Okay, it's Big Jeff coming to you with something really cool. We get customers that send us their pictures and their videos, and we try to put them up, but now we're going to make it official for all of you. It could be the product you buy from us. It could be other product. If you're just a follower, great. What we do is you go to the home page, and then you're going to go to Big Jeff Media, and there's a drop down, and then you're going to go to submit your build. So we're calling this the shout out campaign. Right there, it tells you what to do. We will put this up on our platforms, we'll put it up on YouTube, and we will shout you out. So there's 2 things you got to do. One, you're going to click that email link, and that'll bring you up to send us an email. And then, he actually clicked the red link, which is where you can drop your videos and or pictures into our Google Dropbox. When you're done with that, you need to click the email shout out at Big Jeff Audio. That will take you to your email client, and then you need to let us know who you are, what you sent us, so we can find it. Maybe give us a little story on the build, if the stuff's from us, somewhere else, how long you've been doing this. Just give us a little bios. We're going to go ahead and take that pictures and or video, and we're going to put it up on our big social media platforms and our YouTube, and we're going to shout you out for being a basshead, right? So this is a kind of cool campaign. I know people are always excited to show off what they do, what they build, the car shows they go to. Anything dealing with this industry, you can go ahead and hit submit that file, drop it all in there. Videos, pictures, everything else. If you could, kind of name the files to make it a little easier, but if not, when you email us, let us know what it is so we can look for it. And then me and my team will take your stuff and put it up online and give you the shout out. So if you got stuff, you're doing stuff, if the show's coming up, we have it on our website. Listen, I appreciate everybody coming on. I know it was a little bit off tonight. We had some technical difficulties, but we pulled it through. Jacob's on first full night. We're definitely going to have him back on in a couple weeks, man. He's always filled with information, so we appreciate it. And hope to see everybody at the Sundown show. Yeah.
Am I still here? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Wanted to drop one more thing on you. I can't say a lot about it yet, but there's a project I'm working on for 5 years now. We're working on a line of amplifiers that we're going to make in America. And I'm getting this close to having a working prototype.
So in America.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's it ain't gonna be cheap, I'll tell you that, but it might be some good quality, and
it's gonna be amazing.
That's gonna be really cool. So we'll definitely bring that once that gets closer to getting done. We'll definitely get on here and talk about that. All right, to everybody that's been here tonight, we have another episode down. We kept 80 plus people. I appreciate it. We went over the hour. Sorry about that, but we had so much stuff to talk about. We will see you next Thursday at 7:30. What do we have coming up next week, guys? Oh, Sparked Innovations. Rich and Ed will be on. It's a cool product that we brought in. They'll be coming on, kind of educating all of us on it. We have it now at Big Jeff Audio. They got these fannies, and they got junior fannies, and they got switches, and they got all types of stuff. Really cool for install. So they'll be on next week. And then hopefully me and Jacob, I'll drop them in the golf cart, the Big Jeff golf cart. We'll run around and act crazy at the show. I'll keep the sun off your head on there and give away a bunch of stuff and sign some stuff. Jacob, thank you so much. Thank you to everybody out there. I'm Big Jeff. I'll see you next Thursday with another podcast, Big Sound by Big Jeff. I love you, man. I'll see you guys later.
Big Jeff Audio. Audio.
Je ne sais quoi.
Big Jeff Audio.